Hey guys, this is Courtney, and today I wanted to give an announcement that I am going to be rebranding my channel name and my whole brand, website, all of that to Cosmic Clarity Astrology. So make sure that you guys go ahead and write that down, save that information in case you ever do search for my channel and can't find it no longer under this name. So today's video, we're going to be talking about the Jupiter Uranus Conjunction, and that's happening on April 20th in the sign of Taurus at 21 degrees. This is a rare transit that happens around roughly every 14 years, and it is one of the most significant events that's happening in 2024 that astrologers are looking forward to. This is really exciting because both Jupiter and Uranus can have positive energies. Jupiter especially. Uranus is a little bit of a wild card. So when they come together, these slow planets that really do affect kind of the way our society functions, when they finally come together and unite, they almost have a little rendezvous and give us the potential to have some kind of breakthrough or timeline jump essentially in this lifetime. So I see this almost as like a quantum leap, a breakthrough, a time of hope and prosperity and progress and reinvention or simply invention into something new. And so this is a really exciting time. And we're going to go over what this is going to look like for all of the rising signs. What I'm getting or what I'm going to be predicting for you guys is what you're going to be blessed with or what the breakthrough is going to be for you happening in April. It's very likely that we're already starting to kind of feel some of these energies shifting and these storylines lining up so that throughout the month of April, this energy becomes more obvious, more potent. And you might see something significant happen in the month of April, especially if you have any angles, most likely the angular houses. So like the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th house cusps around 21 degrees. Or if you have especially Taurus 21 degrees, which is where this is happening, or the fixed signs, which is Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, you're going to feel this really significantly. And then you'll also still feel it if you have that also. Planets also around 21 degrees of earth or water signs. So those are who it's going to be really impacting the most. If it's not hitting anything in your chart at all, then maybe you won't really get a huge jolt or a huge breakthrough. Maybe you're doing just fine, or maybe it's just not your time for that. And then others are going to notice a really significant shift. But as a society, as a whole, we can start to see things progress, but it's usually something that we can most clearly see retroactively. So once we've kind of passed this point in time, years later, we can look back and see, oh, that is a turning point for us. That was marking this time in history, or there was some sort of advancement that was heralding a new chapter into our lives as a collective or even in our personal lives. So it's a really, really exciting time. Jupiter is the great benefic. It's the bringer of blessings and children and abundance, and it's a very social planet as well. So it has sorry, I just saw my cat walk outside. So it has a lot of potential to bring in new relationships and connections and opportunities. And then Uranus is a planet of innovation, of progress, a little bit of rebellion as well, change, surprise, technology. And both of them tend to bring a lot of clarity, a lot of wisdom, and the potential for great healing. So I'm excited to see how this can impact us on a more personal scale. But before we do that or talk about each sign, we're going to jump into first discussing what this has looked like in the past, and then maybe get like a really quick overview of what this could look like for the collective. So the last time Jupiter and Uranus came together was in January 2001, really early in January. So it's really something that you would have felt in December and the first week of January. So these planets came together in the sign of Pisces. And during this period of time, we had SpaceX become the first privately owned company to launch, orbit, and recover a spacecraft. So this is extremely Uranian, and obviously Jupiter is also about things progressing and moving forward, more so from a place of personal growth, societal growth, internal expansion as well as spiritual expansion. But and also Jupiter has a very strong link with things that are foreign. So bringing various elements together, and Uranus also has this type of quality where we are kind of bridging different types of maybe technologies or fields and kind of melding them together and creating something new and unique. And so we can see a lot of unique advancements through the coming together of these two planets. So we could see here that obviously this had a lot to deal with things progressing in terms of leaving this world, which I love that because it feels very kind of Aquarian and Pisces in nature, that there's a technological advancement that quite literally has us leave Earth, which I think is super cool. Also during this Jupiter Uranus conjunction in 2011, we had Obama repeal a policy that banned people who are gay from openly saying they were gay or joining the military under that pretense or something of that nature. So I'm probably not wording that correctly, but I think you guys know what I'm saying. So obviously this is very much a Piscean theme and also Aquarius. We can really see the blend of the two because Uranus is there, but we can really see how people who were previously considered underdogs are getting some kind of breakthrough. And that's common with Jupiter and Uranus. We can see reversals of roles and fortunes. So people, especially who were winning and who had the upper hand, but who were not good or it was outdated or it was wrong, we can see those things start to have a little bit of a shift happen with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. And I think that's really even more emphasized because Pluto being in the sign of Aquarius, the sign of the people, we are really in an age or an era where the emphasis is on the collective and the individual, the layperson, and not the governmental forces. And so it's a time of empowering each person and fighting for our own unique rights. And so we can start to see how maybe some power can shift into the hands of the people, especially healers, because Jupiter and Uranus together are both very spiritual planets. And so not only are we more adept at healing things that we might be stuck in terms of cyclical patterns and things that have been just feeling like we cannot get out of them, Uranus and Jupiter together can really, again, jump this timeline. It can get us out of some cycle of suffering. It can help us see things from a higher perspective, give us solutions to existing problems. It can give us this higher level awareness that our human brain doesn't have access to on an ordinary level or on an ordinary day. So it's really an opportunity for us to open up to extra senses. We might feel quite literally more sensitive during this time, and the information that comes to us should really be noted because it is significant for the path forward. The previous time that Jupiter and Uranus came together in the same sign as Taurus was in May of 1941, and during this period of time was kind of in the middle of World War II. Nazi Germany was at its height. There was a lot going on in terms of violence and oppression. And during this period of time, May in particular, the British, I don't know what you would call them, government, elected Winston Churchill. And he became the person who a few years later finally led to the demise of the war and of the Axis powers and Nazi Germany in 1945. So basically, the person who helped reverse the roles of power at that period of time, who helped end the war that was obviously horrible, and I think you can again see here how like the good wins. So it's like the evil was winning at that time, but when Winston was elected, when things basically set into motion for there to be a reversal of power, was the same time Jupiter and Uranus came together. So I think that's very fascinating how these things happen. And so I think that also really goes to show that whatever happens this month is not necessarily going to be an immediate resolution of something. We can feel like we have a breakthrough. We can have this really important piece click into place. But again, we often won't see how that is so significant until we look back on this period of time retroactively, and we can see, okay, yeah, that was the moment in time where I made this different choice, or I had this new perspective that once I followed that path led me to a completely different reality. That timeline jump, that reversal of roles, that reversal of fortune, and enhanced my life to a really significant degree, or made a really noticeable difference in my life where a chapter was almost turned, but in a positive way, a resolution of something in a positive way. So it's really important right now not to put too much pressure on this period of time of seeing these amazing blessings and results, because those could take time to unfold, but those really important characters or pieces of the puzzle will click in together during this period of time when the Jupiter and Uranus come together in our chart. One other thing I think is important to note is that sometimes we also can't fully understand how significant this is for ourselves, but even more so from other people looking at our own lives. So we might, let me give you an example. So also when Jupiter and Uranus came together in Taurus, during this period of time in May 1941, the world's first programmable automatic computer was invented, which obviously sets the stage for this huge technological boom that we have had later, even more so now with Pluto and Aquarius. I think that's something that we can really get a sense of in this period of time. In April, there's probably going to be some technological advancements, maybe with AI or something else, where that sets the precedent for something much bigger later down the line. But there's going to be people who don't get it when it first comes out. Like when that computer first arrived, maybe there are people who didn't understand the purpose. This was 1941. This is a long time ago. So I don't know what level of technology people were aware of at that time, or what they thought it would be used for, if they even knew it existed. So there's a lot that I feel like could be shifting for us, even as a collective, but in our personal lives as well, where things that we have this guided intuition to do or to follow, it's so outside the box, it's so progressive, it's so ahead of its time that it's more likely to not be well received, or to be misunderstood, or even just kind of downplayed before it reaches its full pinnacle of success. And then people years from now will see how significant that thing really was. And I think that we can see that also with the example of Winston Churchill. He was elected during that period of time, or he was, moved into office or voted for at that period of time when that conjunction took place. But I don't know if anyone really knew that he was going to be kind of that big turning point in the war, for example, or that really significant player in the ending of a massive cycle of despair and destruction. So we can see how these things set into place now, but aren't always fully understood. So just really keep that in mind. So during these Jupiter-Uranus conjunctions, we can typically expect to have some kind of idea come through for us that we can bring to fruition. And that means that, again, the idea doesn't mean that the whole thing is completed. The results are not always here right away, although sometimes they will be. If you've been having an existing problem, you can come up with really powerful solutions to that problem, and you can have, again, some kind of turning point, especially in concerns with Taurus themed topics. So we're going to talk about that for each sign, because it's going to depend on what house you have Taurus in, the kind of problems or breakthrough or gift or blessing you could have as a result of these downloads or changes that you make in your life. But also, just talking about Taurus themes in general, this is very much related to the material world. This is related to our financial security, the kind of food that we eat, the cattle that we have on this earth, the nature itself, our clothes, our sense of security, our sense of stability, our sense of independence as well, being able to truly be autonomous in every sense of the word, our sense of worth and value, and the feeling of what we bring to the table, and our own kind of inner resolution to be consistent or work hard or see things through and have positive results with things. So all of those are very Taurus topics. And so we can see that these this Jupiter Uranus conjunction can have some kind of breakthrough or shift concerning the material world or concerning those things that I just mentioned. One of the things that I think is really important with something like this is that we need to be aware of how impulsive an energy like this can be. So there are lots of benefits to this. This is a time of blessings, of breakthrough, of radical shifts that can really enhance our lives. But also sometimes what happens with the exuberance of Jupiter and the progressive, rebellious nature of Uranus, when they come together, they can sometimes not really see how they have maybe blind faith and optimism in the value of change and revolution, because that can be helpful, yes, of course, but also there can be an element of throwing everything out, the baby out with the bathwater, when there are things that are actually functioning and maybe just need revision, when there's wisdom from the past that we need to carry forward, but instead they're just rooting for what is new and progressive. So we really need to keep our heads kind of balanced and look at things through an unbiased perspective while still having faith and optimism. So can we look at the facts? Can we look at the data while still believing that there is a higher possibility and potential, but not getting so blinded by our faith that we refuse to acknowledge, real issues, or refuse to look at the entire equation and be truthful and honest with ourselves and others. Another aspect of this is that we can sometimes get a little bit overzealous and overcommit ourselves. We can scatter ourselves. We can not really have a necessary focus on this energy, which is interesting because it is in Taurus, which is a fixed earth sign, which tends to be very focused, very kind of committed to a particular vision or habit or way of being, so much so that they can almost have trouble, being too stagnant, or not stagnant necessarily, but like unwilling to change when it's required, unwilling to adapt. So this energy helps shake that up. It helps us adapt. But also, I think that this balance could be helpful because it could help maybe kind of focus these two planets, but that is a little bit of a risk where we might kind of scatter our focus, energy, attention, our money, our resources, and we could come to later regret that. So just being aware that change comes at a cost. Saying yes to something means saying no to something. Looking at the entire picture of things and being willing to listen to yourself with logic. So I think that's super, super important. I think this also has a very creative and imaginative energy, which is something I really love because it helps us tap into our higher mind, our higher consciousness, our higher self, so that we can reinvent or reset or renew something in our life. So this could look like revamping something old or starting something new, but that still reinvigorates us. So there's this energy of something coming back to life, especially in the house that this conjunction is happening in for you. So I think that's all I want to say about the general energy of this conjunction. Let's go ahead and jump into what this is going to look like for all the rising signs. And if you enjoyed this, don't forget to comment and like this video, share with your friends so that we can get my channel out there. And I appreciate you guys so much. All right, I'm going to have Aquarius rising and sun. So this Jupiter and Uranus conjunction, which if you haven't watched the overview, definitely check it out. It's rare, it only happens every 14 years. It is currently going to be in the sign of Taurus. It's taking place in your 4th house. So we're going to talk about the breakthroughs, the timeline jumps, the blessings that you get as a result of this major transit happening this year that has been having all the astrologers super curious about what this year is going to bring. So Aquarius being in your 4th house, this could be for some of you guys that you have some kind of major milestone happen within the area of your home or your family. Maybe you guys decide to move somewhere new. Maybe you decide to buy a house. Maybe something significant happens within your family life. And I'm definitely seeing that with the 10 of Cups. Like there is the potential for something big to happen. I often see the 10 of Cups associated with our family. So if there's like a new child born in the family, or feeling like we are finding our place of belonging, finding this stability and this happiness within our home or with our family that we haven't had in a long time, or just having this like peak experience essentially, and at least emotionally, because the 4th house is emotion. So it doesn't have to actually be within the home or family, but For many of you, it will be. It will be this sense of like, yes, I'm in this place where I feel really, really expansive, where I feel really optimistic. Maybe this new house or this new child, or just at the very least, a sense of rootedness, belonging, happiness. It's giving me, like this euphoria, this joy that I think is going to be such a gift for you guys. I also got the Three of Wands because it's interesting that this is taking place in your fourth house. I feel like the fourth house I mentioned, there's rootedness here, but the Three of Wands is the opposite. It has some sense of adventure. And so I feel like maybe there's this journey that you guys have been on where you have maybe been seeking like the right place to live, seeking the right community to be a part of, seeking to find your person, to find that sense of connection and rootedness, seeking to find emotional stability. There's some kind of sense of wandering, adventuring, trying to find your completion, your other half, your sense of balance, the thing that meets you in the right way and connects you to that thing for life, that place, that person, that house, whatever, that milestone. It's like you've been looking, you've been curious, you've been on a journey towards it. And I'm seeing at this conjunction, you're finding that thing. And I feel like it's going to bring you a great sense of stability in your life with this Justice card. It's almost like the efforts are paying off. The full circle moment of the energy that you've put in towards something is coming back to you. This feeling that like what you give is what you're now receiving. There's a fairness, there is an equality, there is a match here. And that's really what I'm getting, is like that search is being able to end because of this sense of finally things being fair and just and right and like clicking into place. I also feel like it's giving you a lot of confidence because the fourth house is like the landing pad. And if our landing pad and our foundation is weak, then it's really hard to take big leaps into the air. It's really hard to take huge risks and feel like we're going to be supported, feel like we're going to be okay. If we're already expending energy on the journey of trying to find that stability or that rootedness or that connectedness or whatever, it's almost like it's hard for us to also have energy for other outward expansion. So I feel like you guys have been on that journey. At this conjunction, you've found it. And now with the Queen of Wands, you can journey further outward. You're more confident. You are feeling more maybe independent, more in tune with your intuition, maybe more emotionally self-reliant. I'm just seeing a lot of like evening and balancing things out, stabilizing things being quite like fair and happy, and the things that have felt like they were suffering or hard or really kind of like requiring a lot of energy just to keep yourself balanced. I'm seeing that now being easy and consistent. And this Queen of Wands to me is like, okay, now that I have this ease and this consistency, now what? Maybe I have much more creative inspiration. So let's say like you've always wanted to have kids, for example. I see like you've been on this journey and then you finally get pregnant or you finally have a kid, and it's like, now I can focus on the journey with the kid instead of like trying to get it. Or maybe I've always wanted a house and I've been trying to get a house and trying to figure out where I should live, and then you finally find the place and it's like, now I can actually build my life here. There's a sense of like, I found that thing that like meets me. I found the balance. I found the other half, the completion, the fairness, and now I can root there and have the energy to try new things, to build something, to use my creative, fertile energy, my inspiring, passionate energy towards the leveling up my life, because now I have the foundation totally taken care of. So that's really exciting for you guys. And again, this takes some time, so you don't want to rush this. It doesn't happen maybe right at the Uranus and Jupiter conjunction. That's okay. But this is the start of that process. So anything else for my Aquarius? Any other cards for my Aquarius? So we have communion. Oh, interesting. So this is a card talking about the science and synchronicity from the universe, that God has been trying to speak to you, that if you've had a deep soul calling towards something in a specific direction, or an inkling of like, what if I tried this? What if I went in this way, in this direction? this is telling you to follow those things, because God is speaking to you through signs, through feelings, through other people, through maybe a random YouTube video like this one. So there's something that's being communicated to you, and you can trust those messages that are coming through, because that's part of the wandering journey of discovering that right thing or right place, right avenue, in order for this kind of groundedness to take place. Because you're not going to just know without experimenting and trying it on. So I'm really getting the sense that this is your time to listen to those messages. Any other messages for my Aquarius? And if you guys have had issues also with like past relationships with your family, I'm really seeing a lot of that being healed. And this communion card can say that everybody's coming together. You are coming together with maybe your soulmate, or you're coming together with your family. And there's just like this cleansing, this purifying, this energy around it that feels very vibrant. We have co-creation. Ooh, I love this. So you guys are in this process of co-creation, which is why I think the communion card came out. It's saying, listen to the signs, but then also ask for what you want, and you'll receive the messages. So put it out there, manifest what you want by getting very clear on this is how I want to feel. Maybe you don't know what that's going to look like for you physically, but then this is how you want to feel. This is how you want to experience it. And then the universe can speak to you through messages and signs around how to best navigate this, the next best steps to take. And when you take those things, you will co-create with the universe to have the exact experience you want, which will end in this 10 of Cups, this true kind of happiness card. So any last messages for my Aquarius? I'm excited for you guys to get this experience of not being lost anymore. I'm getting the sense that some of you have been on a long journey. We have peaceful resolution. Yes, take action. Okay, we got those other two cards in a previous group, so I think that's a little bit not as significant. Maybe some of you guys needed to hear peaceful resolution and yes, but I think take action card is what we want to hear for you guys, that you're not going to get to this place of feeling grounded and having your foundation without experimenting, without taking steps forward, without listening to the signs and taking action on it. You can't passively co-create. You have to take action with the universe to co-create. So if you've been kind of sitting on your hands and wondering when this is going to happen for you, you have to know that it's only going to happen, North Node in Aries, when you take initiative along with the signs of the universe, along with your intuition. So please, please don't just be a bystander in your life. If there's something that you need to decide and experiment with, even if it's not perfect right off the bat, that's okay. This is experimentation, learning, dabbling. That's the energy you're starting off with. And then once you get that, you can finally eventually land into that right solid place for you. So that's what I'm seeing for you, Aquarius. Before you hop off, I need to tell you that I am changing my brand name. So I'm going to be Cosmic Clarity Astrology from now on. So make sure you write that down. Cosmic Clarity Astrology. I know I said that fast. And if you are afraid that you're going to miss some of the videos since I'm changing my name, I have my email list down below, and I send out emails with all my videos on there. So definitely check that out if you want to be notified of new content, and also additional astrology support are in those emails as well. And then thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, comment down below, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.